Hello everyone, Elizabeth here with Team Epic Reads, and I have an awesome DIY project for you guys today. Today's project is inspired by Walk on Earth a Stranger, the first book in a new series by New York Times bestselling author Carson. Now this book takes place during the California Gold Rush era, and our main character Lee has a power where she can actually sense the presence of gold, and that's where things get really interesting. So today's project is gold glitter candle holders. So let's go over what we need for today's project. You're gonna need a couple of paper cups, one of them with just a little bit of water inside. You're gonna need a couple of foam paintbrushes, 1 or 2 glass jars of your choosing. You can do any style that you like. I went with a mason jar and then a plain smooth one. Some clear glue, lots of gold glitter. I went with one that's really fine and then one that's a little bit bigger. Some masking tape or artist tape, and some tea lights. I went for the electronic kind because apparently you can't light candles in the office. I'm gonna be making 2 styles of candle holder today. The first one is more of a rustic kind, so I'm gonna use a mason jar. I wanted to make one that looks a little bit more old-fashioned, inspired by the era of the story. So for this one, we are gonna start with a plain mason jar. First step today, we're gonna be making a glue wash. And this is basically just mixing a little bit of glue with a little bit of water. And that's because we wanna be able to use our paintbrushes to spread the glue really thin around our glass jar. So I'm just gonna take my clear glue and one of my cups. I'm gonna squirt some in the bottom, and then I'm gonna pour in a little bit of water. And you can kind of keep adding as you go. If you wanna get more glue, less glue. I'm gonna keep doing this until I think I have enough. It should be a little bit thicker than water. Great, now I'm just gonna start mixing that up with one of my paintbrushes. So once you're done mixing it up, I'm just gonna show you the consistency. It should be easily dripping, but still sticky. So what we're gonna do is actually use the inside of our jar. So we're not gonna be painting the glue on the outside. So I'm just going to take a little bit of my glue wash on my foam paintbrush, and I'm gonna start painting a light coat on the bottom of my jar. And then I'm gonna start swirling it around the edges. And because we're going for a rustic look here, don't worry if you're not coating every single spot on the jar. You kind of want it to be a little bit shabby chic. And I'm gonna go all the way up because you guys know I love a lot of sparkle. Okay, so once you've coated the inside of your jar as far up as you'd like to go, now it's time to dump some glitter in here. So I'm gonna use 2 different kinds of gold glitter. This one has sparkles that are a little bit bigger. Hopefully I can open it without it going everywhere. There we go. And I'm just gonna dump some in the bottom. And then I'm gonna take a finer gold glitter and I'm gonna dump some of that inside as well. Then what I'm gonna do is put on the top of my mason jar and shake this up so that glitter goes everywhere. And that we get it all along the side. So I'm just gonna go all around. Okay, so now we're just gonna dump out our excess glitter. I'm just gonna do that right on my newspaper. Okay, so now that our jar is super duper sparkly, you can either leave it like this with tons of glitter, or if you want your candle to show through a little bit more, you can take another foam paintbrush and you can lightly dab the inside so that some of that glitter falls off, and then your candle will show through a little bit more. Okay, so now that you have your glitter jar all ready to go, all you have to do is put your tea light in. So I'm gonna turn mine on, and I'm gonna drop it right in there. And then this will look actually really beautiful at night or when you have some dimmed lights. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to our more modern style. And for this one, I'm gonna use my tape because I wanna make some glitter stripes on my smooth glass jar. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the tape where I do not want the glitter. So I want there to be some of the chunky gold glitter on the bottom. So about 1 inch from the bottom, I'm going to place my tape. So try to be careful with this, but again, if it's not perfectly even, doesn't matter. There's no rules with glitter. Great, and then just cut it off. So I'm gonna do another layer of my tape closer to the top. And you can space these out however you want them to look. So I'm gonna do this across the top. And then I'll have 2 stripes of glitter going across our candle holder. So now, remember when you made that glue in the water? Well, we're gonna use that again, and we're gonna go ahead and use that same foam paintbrush. You might need to mix it up a little bit again, so I'm gonna quickly do that. Okay, so we're gonna be doing almost the exact same thing that we did on the rustic style, but this time we're gonna be putting our glue wash on the outside of the candle holder. So I'm gonna take a little bit, and I'm gonna start on the bottom. And it doesn't matter if it goes up to the tape, because remember that tape is gonna stop the glitter from getting on that part. So I'm just gonna paint right around the bottom. And then we're just gonna go ahead and pour our chunky glitter. So we're just gonna let that dry a little bit before we take the tape off. Okay, so once you gave that a minute to dry, we're gonna go ahead and use our glue wash on the next strip. So you have to be a little bit more careful this time because you can't hold on to the entire glass jar this time. So I'm gonna be gripping this from the top where my tape is, so just try to hold on to that part. Go ahead and dip my paintbrush in the glue wash, and then we're gonna paint the next strip. Said, okay, we're ready to glitter. Take my fine glitter, and now we're just gonna pour it on our second stripe. And it's okay if some of the fine glitter drops into the thicker glitter because you let that dry for a little bit, so not too much of it's gonna stick on. Okay, so we're gonna let it dry for a little bit, and then we're gonna take our tape off. So I'm gonna put my hand inside the jar to lift it. And remember that you don't wanna put your hands on the glitter because A, you're gonna have glitter all over your hands, and B, you don't wanna mess up all the great work that you just did. So now I'm going to very, very carefully start to peel off my bottom piece of tape. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and take off the top piece. Yay! It's so pretty! And just in case if you have any drips or anything that you want to fix, you can go in with a fresh, clean paintbrush and you can wipe through your stripes just to take off any excess if you have any. Just a couple of tiny drips here. And now for the last step, we're just going to go ahead and put our tea light in. So there you have it, 2 different styles of beautiful gold glittery candle holders. And as always, if you have any ideas for DIY projects, just leave them in the comments below.